Zoho has just dropped probably the biggest update of the year for Zoho Campaigns. Bot filtering is officially live. You know, many of us have been waiting for this update for quite some time. They announced it over a year ago, and we've been waiting for it to go live. This isn't an April Fool's joke, even though they dropped it on April 1st. It's here, it works, I've tested it, it's great. In this video, I'm going to cover how to set it up, how to utilize the analytics, and how it can help your future campaigns with giving you proper insights for your marketing effort. Let's not waste any time and jump straight into the tutorial, but before you do, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you have any feedback or questions, drop it in the comments section below, and let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so first I'm gonna cover how to turn this new setting on. It should have automatically been applied and turned on, but just in case it isn't, this is how you go ahead and turn it on. So first, we're going to go ahead and click on the settings coggle. And then from there, under general, you'll see bot filtering. So as we can see here, it's already turned on. I haven't done anything. It should be like this in your instance, but in case it isn't, simply go ahead and turn it on. We're not going to disable it in this case. We want to enable it. And then you can see it has two features turned on: exclude bot activities from entering segments. So this is important. Let's say you have a segment that's based on an email being clicked. If they click on that email or that link within the email and they're supposed to enter a segment, we don't want that. We want actual people that are clicking on the segment. So by turning this on, it'll prevent any workflows or triggers you have set up that require, a click for a bot to enter a segment or an open even. This will go ahead and enable this option to prevent recognized bots from being added as contacts in the segment associated with the respective email campaign. The next one is exclude bots from entering workflows. This is another huge one because how many automations do we have set up where maybe it's based on a score or maybe it's based on an engagement of a previous email? And how many people are actually jumping ahead to these various workflows that we have set up because we're hoping that they're jumping ahead because they're engaged and they're, getting closer to being sales qualified. They're becoming a hot lead. But how many of them is actually because their company have bots set up with their servers to go ahead and check for viruses and different things within an email before that user actually receives that email? So it's giving us false insights and false analytics into these campaigns we're sending out and moving them along. Well, that's all been solved for with this feature. So I really don't see a reason why you would have either of these turned off. So you go ahead and leave them on. Next, let's go ahead and dive into how this affects our workflows. So I briefly touched on some ways that workflows are affected, but I'm going to actually show you what I mean. And let's take a look at some of these triggers. So I'm going to go ahead and create a custom workflow, and we'll just say trigger bot examples for the name. And from here, if we go ahead and look at the triggers, so form submission isn't going to really be triggered. Entering a segment, usually we're not creating a segment based on an email action, such as a click, but some of the triggers are email actions. Maybe you want to give them a point based on how they interact with an email. This is a very common one where you can choose an existing campaign or workflow, or choose any email campaign. And if it's opened or clicked, I want to say if it's open, we'll go ahead and save, and they could re-enter this even. And we would want to go ahead and apply a score. So we would hit add score. So now we're using scores to create a workflow based on an email action. And this email action is going to apply points. But if they're not clicking on it and it's a bot clicking on it, we're giving false points to those contacts. We don't want to do that. So that's one instance where workflows are now going to be significantly better because you're going to have real data applying to these workflows. It also sometimes, if you'll notice, when you have a process, or let's say we send email, and you'll see this a lot in the drips you create. So pretend this is a different trigger, even the same trigger, but we use the response. So we say deliver, opened, or clicked on any link or a specific link, and now you have these webs. Well, oftentimes, maybe if it was just delivered, but they didn't open it, we would want to send a different email. Or if it was opened, they would receive a different email here and a different email here, or a different email here, or maybe a different task completely. Maybe this wasn't an email. Maybe this was, let's say, push data to the CRM, letting them know that this lead is hot. And then from there, we want to go ahead and exit them from the workflow. Like say they clicked on the booking link. So from here, we have 3 different, scenarios that could happen. When bots were doing this, it was pushing them through this part of the workflow, and it kind of completely defeated the purpose of having this workflow. Now we don't have to worry about this anymore. This has been fixed with this latest update, so this is huge. Lastly, let's go ahead and dive into taking a look at the various reports and how you can use this data and what it means for future campaigns and the numbers you really should be looking at. For this last section, I went ahead and created a custom campaign real quick, ran our team training promo special for the spring. If you're interested, you can save $1,000 until April 21st, 2025 on our training courses for each individual training course. But I went ahead and created this campaign so we can get some real analytics and look at these features live together. So here, this has been running for about 30 minutes, got a ton of auto responders. You can see that the auto replies, it's actually pretty accurate. I had about 50 auto replies happen. We can see the reliable clicks. We can look at our click-through rate would have been normally higher because of the bots at a 2.9%. So right now, 3%, not too worried about it though. This has only been out for 30 minutes, so I don't expect anyone in the middle of their day to be opening this email and clicking on things instantly. And we can see the click-through rate is actually lower than it would normally be. And I've been running around 40 to 45% in the past, and now it's at 12. So ideally, these numbers, looking at these numbers, we want about a 25% legitimate to 30% open rate. We want a 2.5 to 5% click-through rate. So getting these bots out of these numbers will give us some real numbers to work with, and real numbers is what we want because then we can make adjustments, A/B test, change our headers, change our subject lines, change our emails, maybe put the call to actions higher, change how they look. There's so many with these numbers. We have real insights on how people are actually interacting with our emails. And this will allow us to make the adjustments we need to better the future interactions of the emails we send out. Super exciting stuff. I'm really, really excited this came out. So far, everything seems accurate with the reliable opens. We can see the Apple opens. And just, so happy Zoho has finally released this. And for it being released today, it seems to be working great, which, kudos to Zoho. Super, super pumped for this. One final thing I wanted to address, when I created my first campaign sending out, it wasn't in here, but I went ahead and tried to recreate it, but it seems to have fixed itself. But when I was getting ready to send that last campaign, even though I had bot filtering enabled, it said bot filtering disabled. So just a little disclaimer, if you see that, just go ahead and send it, because if in the back end it is actually turned on, it should actually work. And it did. It corrected itself as soon as I sent it. Then when I came to the reports, it said bot filtering enabled and not disabled. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for tuning in. If you found it useful, again, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for other additional resources on Zoho, opt into our newsletter. We'll send you the latest in Zoho news every Monday morning and also include implementations, code shares, articles, and tips like these. We also have a free online community where you can join other Zoholics such as yourselves and share code, share your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them on our weekly podcast, The CRM Zen Show. Until next time, have a great day.